Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Just wanted to kind of go over what my experience was with my very first house flip. So the very first flip that I did was actually back in 2009. I bought the house at auction, just like one of the other videos that you guys might have seen recently that we bought a house at auction. Back in 2009, that was very, very common that we bought houses at the auction. So they were sight unseen. We could see the outside, of course, we could drive by, but we couldn't see the inside. So I just wanted to kind of cover what happened and what I would do now versus what I did then, that I could take it from a loss, which that was a loss on my very first flip, to a profit. And I definitely could do it with what I know now from what I know then. So like I said, the biggest thing was I couldn't see the inside, right? So I had no idea what the inside looked like, but I also didn't have the experience to go into it to say, look, I may have to replace everything in that house, so I need to build in that cushion right from the beginning to say, hey, if I do have to replace everything in that house, what's it gonna cost? And make sure I build that into my budget. When you can't see the inside or you don't really know what's going on, you need to make sure that you do that. And that's the biggest thing that I take away from it that I didn't do. I just assumed that the house was in great shape. It wasn't. It was in complete disarray. There was a family of 6 people living in it. I had to kick them out of the house, which was a nightmare because they had kids, but luckily they had somewhere to go. And they lived like pigs. They were hoarders. It was a mess everywhere. Again, that was something that I had no idea when I went to this, that I would have that hurdle to be able to get past. So again, looking at it, that's one of the big things. I tried as much as I could when I went into there to save money where I could with it, but one of the mistakes that I made looking back is what I probably should have done is not saved as much stuff that I did. I should have just torn it out, made it nicer, and then actually put it up for sale at that point, because it would have had all new stuff instead of trying to save a lot of the things, which is what I did. And I do the same thing with a lot of my flips now. I go into it with, oh, I'm gonna save that or whatever, but once I really get into it and I start looking at the market, it's just not worth it. It's not worth me saving a few hundred or maybe a few $1,000s in certain circumstances, because it's still old cabinets, for instance, is something that I should have just torn out entirely and put in new cabinets. I didn't. I saved them and I painted them. They just weren't new. They weren't really what people were looking for, and I didn't get the value out of it that I should have. Same with flooring too. I went into it and I did keep the flooring. I found some matching tile and I kind of added to it, but it was outdated tile at the time, and I should have just torn it all out and put new stuff in there. I was trying to save $1 because I got in and it was much more than I anticipated. That's really what I should have done. I should have gone in there and just gutted it out, put in all nice new stuff, and then I could have got a premium for the house and sold it probably faster and definitely for more money. So that's something that I have learned from it for sure, that you need to save some items in some houses, but you need to know where you can cut items and where you need to say, hey, look, I just can't save this any longer. I have to get rid of it. I have to start over, and I have to look at the comparables in the neighborhood and go, okay, let me put this extra $5,000 or $10,000 in it, but it's going to yield me $15,000 or $20,000. And that's something that I didn't know. I didn't know the market well enough. It was my very first one, and I didn't know that I could do that. I was just trying to do it all on a budget. And I see people in new flips do that a lot, where they go into the properties, they try to just shoestring budget everything and do it as cheap as possible, and buyers see right through it. They know when they go into a house if stuff's been, updated or just Band-Aid back together, or they painted it and tried to save it, and that's not always the best thing to do. You've seen in some of my properties that I have done that in some of them, but other ones I haven't, and you just have to really know where that line is and what your comps are in that neighborhood, that you can just push past it and get the extra money for doing those extra things. But sometimes you can't, and you have to figure that out. So that's something that I would say was the most important thing that I learned of doing the flip the first time, why I lost money, why I wouldn't lose money in that one now. If I did that same one now, I would absolutely, I think I lost like $8,000. I bet I would probably make $10,000 on it now, where I lost $8,000 before, like an $18,000 differential on it. I would have spent a little bit more money on the rehab, but I would have been able to do that. And one of the things that I did have, which I had no control over, I had to put a new air conditioner in that property, put the air conditioner in. The next day the guys go over to work, it was the summertime, They're like, oh, hey, they call me. They're like, hey, it's hot in here. I'm like, well, turn on the air conditioner. We just installed it yesterday. They're like, it's not turning on. I'm like, what? I'm like, we'll go around the outside and make sure maybe it's unplugged or something. So they go over there. They're on the phone with me. They're like, there's no air conditioner here. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, it's gone. I'm like, are you kidding me? So somebody stole the air conditioner the night we put it in. So that cost me like $3,000 that was not in the budget at all. I didn't anticipate, and there's nothing I could do about it, obviously. So that hurt me. There's nothing I could have done about that, but that was just part of the story. So hopefully that, guys, gives you guys some information that might help you out with your flip. Comment below anything that I can help you with. If you're working on a flip currently or you're looking at something, I'd be happy to help you with some ideas or whatever. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos to come as well. Also, there's a link for a Facebook group below. It's the very first link. Make sure to click that, be able to answer more questions for everybody, a little bit more individual basis as well. Thanks again, I appreciate it. We'll see you on the next video.